Hello, and welcome to today's episode. I'm going to be your host, the Irrelevant Nerd, and today we're going to be ranking all 5 MCU phases from worst to best. Not a lot to say to build up here, so let's just go ahead and get right into it. At number 5, we have Phase 5. This is easily the least connected phase, by far. There are definitely quality projects here. Guardians of the Galaxy 3, Deadpool and Wolverine, and Thunderbolts are all pretty great, in particular Thunderbolts being easily a top 10 MCU movie for me, but there is no, connective tissue through them. Even in Deadpool and Wolverine, the TVA does not seem to function the same way as it does in the show that it was introduced in Loki, so it doesn't really feel like this super tight universe anymore. And even though we did get these 3 great movies, the other 3 movies in the phase, Ant-Man and the Wasp, Quantumania, The Marvels, and Captain America Brave New World are all pretty not the best, and they really drag the quality of this phase down, even though it does seem like they are hopefully correcting out some of these issues near the end of the phase and going into phase 6 with Fantastic Four first steps. But even the TV shows are wildly inconsistent. Loki season 2 is truly fantastic, and I will have a review of that show out soon, but even Loki feels like its own, its own little pocket, and how much is it really affecting the MCU? And I do believe it is going to matter more in the next Avengers movies. I think that Doctor Doom's plan is going to involve Loki at the end of time, but of course we'll see. But as it stands now, the show really kind of just functions by itself without being affected by or really affecting the MCU as a whole, other than maybe explaining why there is no more Kang with the way that his character is kind of wrapped up in Loki season 2, but it feels on its own, even though it's great. And then you look at some of the other shows like Daredevil Born Again and Your Friendly Neighborhood Spider-Man are solid, but then you have it weighed against Secret Invasion and Echo and What Ifs season 2 and 3 and Ironheart, which are all lackluster to terrible. And so without that kind of strong connection to bring every project up, it seems like it's just a bunch of these individual projects where the majority of them are either disappointing or just straight bad, even though there is some stuff to still love in here. Number 4, Phase 4. This is our most dense phase and just in terms of the amount of projects that we got. I believe, 7 movies, 8 shows, and 2 TV specials with Werewolf by Night and the Guardians of the Galaxy holiday special. So that's a whole lot of content, and the phase was only 2.5-ish years long, if I remember correctly, and there are still great things in this phase. Spider-Man No Way Home, Shang-Chi, very solid entries, and Doctor Strange and Multiverse of Madness and Black Panther Wakanda Forever are good. They're not great, but they're not terrible, and a lot of the TV shows in this phase are pretty decent. This is where you have Loki season 1, WandaVision, What If season 1, which I think is the best season of that show, and then you do have some shows that did start off strong and kind of just, lost all their steam near the end, like Moon Knight, Falcon and the Winter Soldier, even Hawkeye a little bit, even though I do enjoy Hawkeye. But this phase, it does unfortunately have my 2 least favorite projects in it. that are just really gonna always drag it down, even with future phases coming out. With, Thor, Love and Thunder, my least favorite MCU movie, and She-Hulk, my least favorite MCU movie by far. But I think it has just enough quality and still enough connective tissue for the world to just feel like the world building just feels stronger in this phase than phase 5. So it does edge it out, but like just barely. And as I watch Thunderbolts more and more, and it seems to be, in my mind, getting higher and higher in my rankings, it might eventually drag phase 5 above phase 4, but just phase 4 as of now, with just feeling like it is still more connected, even though the quality is very up and down. I think that it does deserve to be above phase 5. Number 3, phase 1, our most simple phase for obvious reasons, but it is still so good. It is a little tonally inconsistent from movie to movie for sure, but I think that's understandable, as they were still trying to figure out the tone for like the entire MCU as a whole. And so that's one of those things. It's a legitimate criticism, but I do think it's understandable, just based on nobody had ever done this before, and they figured out a way to do it. And obviously it's going to be, a little rocky to start, but the through line and build up to the Avengers is so strong, even though you don't have the characters really intermingling and showing up in each other's movies all that much, outside of Nick Fury showing up in all of them. And you do have Tony Stark appear for a very brief scene in The Incredible Hulk, but it's obvious what they're building up to do. And like, even though they're not connected in that way, you can just tell that all the stories are connected up to just basically revealing the Avengers as a team and as the guardians of the world in this universe and the bigger threats going forward. It is very strong, and really to get to see some of these characters for the first time, like Iron Man, Thor, Captain America, our big three, was so special and so much fun. And luckily, at the time when the first Iron Man came out, my girlfriend in high school worked at our local movie theater, and so I got to see Iron Man, I think it was 5 times in the theaters for free. And y'all, it was just incredible. And also just to experience this type of connected universe for the first time was also really special, and I was really glad to be there when it was first happening in like my youth. I came out at a perfect time in my life. And when you look at like Iron Man and the Avengers, both still being top MCU movies, like they really did get off to a very, very strong start, and they're always going to help keep this phase relatively high on the list, just because it does have such good quality there. Number 2, phase 2 basically took everything about phase 1 and built upon it and did it just a little better. The movies start to kind of hit that more consistent tone, and it really starts to expand the scope of the movies and as the universe as a whole, while introducing these new lovable characters that you instantly get attached to, like the Guardians of the Galaxy, Ant-Man, but like, it's not without its flaws. It does stumble a little bit at the beginning with Thor: The Dark World and Iron Man 3, even though I do still enjoy that movie. I understand that it's pretty divisive amongst the fans, and those were the first 2 to come out, so it came out stumbling a little bit. But when you have Guardians of the Galaxy and the Winter Soldier, like, that's really going to elevate how I feel about the phase, in particular the Winter Soldier being a top 2 MCU movie for me. And again, the connectedness, while the movie is not all, just being direct sequels of each other, you're understanding what the world is building up to and where the threat is going. And of course, it culminates with another Avengers movie, which is really what's missing in Phase 4 and Phase 5. Like, I remember when they announced that Wakanda Forever was going to be the end of Phase 4, I was so confused. Like, I don't know, it just didn't feel like a phase at all. But this one, it does. And you have the culmination with Age of Ultron, and then you do have Ant-Man after. But Ant-Man just feels like a nice, low-stakes break after such a big Avengers movie, which did kind of start that trend carrying into Phase 3 as well. But with the Winter Soldier, it lifts it just enough to barely edge out Phase 1. Like, they're very, very close, and I could see myself interchanging them just depending on how I'm feeling. But for now, we're going to throw Phase 2 at number 2. All right. At our number 1, we're going to go with Phase 3. This is the MCU truly firing on all cylinders. It is the most connected of any of the phases, as you can feel the buildup to Infinity War in each and every movie, and each and every movie feels so consequential to the universe as a whole. And when you look at the run of how this phase started, from Captain America Civil War to Doctor Strange to Guardians of the Galaxy 2, to Spider-Man Homecoming, to Thor Ragnarok, to Black Panther, to Avengers Infinity War, all in a span of 2 years, not even quite a full 2 years, I believe it's like a year and 10 months, is just insane. Like, we were so spoiled, and that it is just a ridiculous run of movies that, like, for a franchise, I don't think we're ever going to see anything like that ever again, with just so many movies coming out in such a short amount of time and all being bangers and loved by critics and loved by fans. It was a special time, and with the 2 Avengers movies to close it out and really pulls the entire phase and universe together, it ends on such a strong note because they pulled it off. Like, they really did. They figured out a way to blend all of these franchises, all of these characters into a movie that did seem to honor them all and honor the tone of them all. And it was wild. Like, what a wild time in cinema, and truly special to experience as it was happening, and getting to go see it in theaters with these big packed crowds cheering during Avengers Endgame. And I am very hopeful for season 6, and after the soft reboot going forward, it seems like they are starting to turn a corner and get back to producing consistent quality. But I don't think they're ever going to get back to feeling like this. Like, the first 3 phases of the MCU are truly special, and just the closeout with Phase 3 being so strong and the fan hype being so real, I don't know if the MCU or any film franchise can ever reach those levels, because it was just ridiculous. But so, quick recap, at number 5, Phase 5, number 4, Phase 4, number 3, Phase 1, number 2, Phase 2, and taking our number 1 spot, Phase 3. Let me know what you guys think down below. Do I have any too high, too low? Does it seem pretty fair to you? How would you rank them? Or what's your favorite? What's your least favorite? And tell me why. I do like to see people's favorites, but I also like to know why, because sometimes it makes me think differently about stuff, or see the movies or phases from a different angle. So please expand upon, if you do want to comment below. I really would love to see it. And I am currently working on a review for seasons 1 of 2 and Loki, so I imagine that will be my next video, and hopefully I'll see you guys then.